Hello Ratbags, it's Jade. Welcome to a special Valheim video. Today I have got a interview slash little chat with Grimcore, otherwise known as Robin Ear Art, the main art guy on Valheim. Hello.
Hey.
How you doing?
I'm good. I'm a bit tired, but I'm good.
Yeah. Well, now you're a content creator specialist rather than an artist. You must be up all night recording, streaming.
Obviously, I am.
Yeah. So what is the deal with that? I don't know if I listed that properly, but like obviously you as an artist, obviously I've got history and I want to get into that. But is it literally you've done all the art you can kind of do for Valheim and they just want to keep you around in the company, or is it like a case of like you're doing a bit of both?
Well, it's just okay. So the content creator thing was actually I came in one morning and or I was talking in the beta test channel,
right?
And so one of the biggest, he's called RSM Lord. He's I think he's the longest playing Valheim player. He's got like almost 2,000 hours played or something like that.
Oh wow.
And he started calling me content creator, and then I got demoted after that. So, but basically, no, yeah, even though I do art and everything, I still do a lot of bug testing, and I actually balance the game a lot and give Richard advice on, because I'm a hardcore Dark Souls player.
Right. Okay.
So I'm basically the first tester running into bosses, and yeah. So if I'm not doing art, I'm actually doing other things as well.
So you are a proper dev then, as it were.
Yes.
That's good to know. That's good, because I was a bit worried for you. I felt like, oh my god, how can you demote someone just because they've finished their art? That's it. You're just now the streamer guy.
No, right now it's the six finger joke and the content developer, or content creator.
Right. Okay. Good. I'm glad to hear it. But yeah, so like, how did you what's the story with you? Like before Valheim, what was you doing? Like, has it always just been just art for games, or what's the history?
No, basically I studied a little bit for animations back in like 2003, 2005 or something. But after that, I decided I don't want to do anything with computers anymore.
Right.
So for a couple of years, I was just a support worker. And just not doing that much, just trying to look like I was working at schools as a teacher, art teacher. But it basically, and then after that, I went to Japan to study Japanese, because then I wanted to start getting into real animation.
Right.
And to get into anime, I had to learn Japanese first, because I couldn't get into the schools. So I had to learn Japanese. But after 2 years, I was like, I miss Sweden.
Yeah.
So I went home to Sweden, and that's about when I started taking up art again.
Right. Okay.
And basically, I don't have any education, to be honest. I sat like every evening. Oh, my grades were too bad, so I couldn't get into university for games or anything like that. So basically, I
self-taught.
Yeah.
That's really cool. I mean, I've followed a couple of people that have been in my community that have kind of done that. A great artist that did stills of pets. She would do this as just a little side gig where she would draw these amazing lifelike creations of art for people. Runs with Pencils, her name is. And they were amazing. And she'd charge people for it, and they loved it, having their pets immortalised in paintings. And it looked so lifelike. And but she was all completely self-taught. And now she's actually been studying game dev for the last 2 years, and she's like proper into it. She's proper doing game coding, engineering, the whole shebang in hopefully making her own games in the future.
I like cross-pollinating a lot as well, so I try to teach myself how to blacksmith out in the back. I also like bow and arrows is something I really like, and kendo.
So you are actually the inspiration of Valheim. You are the Viking that it's based on.
Yes, I live out in the woods. I chop my wood and I burn it for warmth, basically. But that is actually true. That is what I do.
Right, that is your job. That's all we do. There's no boars anywhere in Sweden because you've killed them all for scraps.
If I were allowed to hunt boars with bow and arrows, then I might do it, but it seems to be a very dangerous job to do that with bow and arrows. But I haven't gone hunting at all. I can't shoot a rifle, but yeah.
Right, but that's what you'd like to do a little bit more. That's cool.
Yeah, yeah. Sounds. I think it sounds cool. I
It's
mean, it sounds fun.
Iron Gate sounds pretty organic. Like it sounds really, you know, obviously there's only 5 members or 6 now, including Mr. Smith A. And the way that I've looked into the rest of the guys and how you got on together and stuff, like working at uni and being in the same office and stuff like that, it sounds really good. It sounds like it's something, you know. How did you get into actual Valheim, like, or meet Richard or work with him?
It was basically after we bought our house where we live now, and my daughter was at this football training. I mean, soccer, football,
Yeah,
wherever you're
soccer.
from.
Yeah. I don't get upset. I'm not too precious. I understand the poor Americans that can't comprehend. That
you might get American listeners. In that case, it's soccer.
Yeah.
And if you're British, it's football.
Yeah.
But then I got a text from my friend Simon, and he was like, "This looks like a game that you could work on." And then I sent in my resume, which wasn't anything at all, to be honest. I'd only worked on like startups and a lot of indie projects that never really led to anywhere. But then, yeah, because they were looking for a generalist, and up to then, I'd done like animations and 3D models and everything. So I thought, like, okay, if I just go in really hard and push for a generalist, like I'd make the concept, I'd make the creature. They asked for 1 creature. I made 2 creatures instead.
Right.
And they're like, oh yeah, so I just tried to push as much as I could on the presentation, which actually got me somewhere, even though I didn't have any experience on big games or anything like that.
No, but still just enough.
Yeah, but basically it came down to the chemistry, I think, between me, Richard, and Henrik when we were sitting and talking, because we actually went way over the interview time.
That's always a good sign. Always a good sign in interviews.
But then, yeah, so I started 2019 August.
Okay, so still fairly recent. Like I guess Richard's been doing this for nearly 4 years now. Like, and game dev on other projects before then.
Oh yeah, he's been working on proper games before, but he wanted to do his own thing with
Valheim. Yeah, I've looked into the history. It's pretty cool. Like, it is amazing. I mean, I'm always in awe. Sweden seems to have this knack for these amazing developers that sell millions. If it's not Notch, is he Swedish or is he Norway?
Yeah,
I don't want to get this wrong. I'll have people after me.
No, he is Swedish.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if he lives in Sweden anymore, but he is Swedish somewhere.
And then there's loads of great games. Like, I love Satisfactory. I know that's a bit cheesy. Obviously, it's your co-publisher or your publisher and helping out a little bit as well.
Yes.
Yeah, Coffee Stain are pretty good. And there are just a couple of great games. Teardown, the creator of him, I think he's Scandinavian as well. And that's a really cool game where it's like volumetric smog and fog and everything's fully rendered like destructible with voxels and stuff. It's a really cool game.
I think I know about that game.
Yeah, it's called Teardown. It's interesting. It's like it's meant to be a heist game, but you pretty much just go around destroying stuff just to see what would happen, like with the mechanics of it. And even I think Townscaper, which is like a nice little doodle game where you build, yeah. I'm sure he's from Scandinavia as well. So
it looks very Scandinavian. I think is it Simon something?
Yeah,
Oscar or something like that.
I
know about it. Yeah.
Yeah, they're all cool. So I Sweden seems to have a knack at the moment. What's kind of the weirdest thing you've had happen so far, or question or DM you've had?
Oh, I think the weirdest one has to be a guy, and he was super angry that we shut down the Discord servers one evening because we were installing new bots. And because of the new bots, we're just letting 5 people in per minute.
Right. Yeah, I think I saw that. I saw some shenanigans about having to have a number.
But he wrote to me and he was like, "Why did you close Discord down?" He was really angry. "Why did you close Discord down? Now I can't play Valheim." And I wrote back, like, "You can't play Valheim? Why not? What seems to be the issue? We haven't got anything connected to Discord in any way. You should be able to play it." And he's like, "I have to find my group in Valheim." Okay, but you can play it. He was like, "Yeah. Oh, by the way," and then he went straight forward from being really angry to, "Oh, you answered. I'm really happy now."
Yeah, that is amazing. The amount of diffusion you can have on someone being angry when you reply to them.
But then after that, he went straight to. I don't know if he wanted me to stay and talk to him or something, but he went from being super happy to being like, "Oh, it's such a fantastic game. It's such a gem, and it's so amazing." My grandmother died last week.
Oh no, bloody hell! Yeah, not them
And I was
ones.
like,
Yeah.
"Oh, okay. I don't know really what to say," but that's probably the most
weirdest
emotional
one.
trip I had in a message. In like 2 minutes, it went from super angry to super happy to pretty depressing.
Yeah, I saw from Lisa's interview that obviously she's had someone tell her like they love her and stuff, and like, yeah, it does get crazy. It's only going to get crazier. Like the game is going to exponentially keep growing, and you know by the time you guys get to console launch in maybe a year, 2 years, or when your completion. Yeah, hopefully I'll be able to ask you the same question and you'll have 20 examples of like the weirdest time someone sent you a DM and it's been weird.
No, but the normal DMs is like 50-50, or not even 50-50. Maybe it's like 80-20, probably. Most people like it. Then you've got like 20% who actually are a bit angry that we aren't
doing what they want.
No, but basically we're too small of a team. That's what they're angry at. They're
right,
like,
okay.
Your team is too small. You won't be able to push content. But I think that people don't really understand that we work really fast once we get started with things, because the way the pipeline works and the art style and everything. For example, Eikthyr. We remade Eikthyr just before early access, and that took about maybe 1 week.
Just to get that done.
Yes, I mean from scratch. I started with a cube to make Eikthyr again.
Thank God you said that correctly, because the amount of abuse I've got for calling it Elkir. I kept seeing an L in it. I don't know why, but for the first 2 weeks, anytime I was playing a game or doing a video, I'd be like Elkir.
All right.
Yeah, and no, there's no L in it. There is no L. Okay.
I don't mind. I mean, we've got people saying Mr. Huggins to Hugin as
yeah.
well, so it's all good. It's all good.
But that's good to hear, because I think like so many people now, and I've said this as well, and I don't want to do this to developers, but I kind of understand why, because so many games have this live service culture now, or the expectation in the early access even that the biggest and best games update every single month with big content, and it's hard to shake that when you're a small team, and people don't realize you can't just employ you want people to come move to Sweden. It's going to take them maybe 2 or 3 months to get visas and set up a lifestyle, and that's after the 2 months it takes to maybe interview them.
Yep.
And get them to come on board. So realistically, you may have struggled finding someone to come and join. Even if you wanted to, they might not be able to join for 4 or 5 months.
Oh, but I think it's I mean, that could be an issue. I don't think that will be our issue.
No.
Though.
Hopefully with the COVID situation going down a little bit, fingers crossed, and reducing somewhat, it will get a bit easier. But yeah, definitely in the last year, it's amazing that you managed to launch pretty much as you did. And I think that's the other part as well. The game is so well formed already, whereas that's why I guess you can do stuff quickly. Whereas if you would maybe launch 6 months ago, you might have had more trouble getting stuff done because there was so much still not finished off. Do you know what I mean?
Probably.
Yeah.
The thing is that it's really weird, because I've talked to a lot of AAA developers before. And the way that they explain their pipelines are often 6 weeks per character. You've got, because you need the concept, and then you need the modeling, and then you do the animations, or if you do motion capture, you have to do the cleanup in the motion capture and everything. So it takes a long time to just push out one character in a AAA standard game.
Yeah.
However, for us, it normally, I mean, it goes really, really fast from concept stage to implementation of that person. And then I think the testing and tweaking of animations is probably the thing that takes the longest time. But I mean, that is probably just 1 day of testing and tweaking. Yeah. But it will, like, let's take an example, the Goblin Brute.
Yeah.
That took about maybe a week to complete and implement into the game, because we've got all the systems there. Now it does take a little bit longer, because now we didn't have to think about localization before and translations. We never had to think about that.
Yeah.
But now it has to go through translations, which I think that's the biggest biggest hurdle right now.
Really, that's surprised. Like, I guess, yeah, it kind of makes sense. But like, yeah, you're thinking about those development stuff, and it's like, well, yeah, you just need more. Can people help? Are you looking for like? I know some companies or games have really like reached out and said, look, can you help us with translations? I think Satisfactory did and stuff.
We've got two different translation types. We've got the professional translations, and we've got the community translations as well.
Yeah.
But we've got people working, I think, on almost all languages. We've got some difficulties with the Arabian languages, Arabic.
Yeah.
Because it's backwards.
Yeah.
And that becomes a difficulty. But we're trying to sort that out as well. I mean, Richard is doing that.
yeah. Like that's the end of your generalist subject. You're not about to. I guess, did you help with the Japanese, or did that not end up going too well with the 2 years of learning?
No, I stayed away from the Japanese. Yeah. I was looking at some Japanese translations because we had difficulties trying to fit everything so it would be readable because we scale the text depending on how much text there is. So
yeah.
Some Japanese places we had to actually go in and rescale the font.
Right. Okay. Yeah,
and that's the only thing I checked.
Right.
To see that it is readable.
So obviously it is hugely successful. What has been the best part so far? Like, what has been the standout moment?
Oh, the best part, I think. I mean, like I said before, Jane came up today, my daughter, with the magazine with Valheim on it. It's like a kids gaming magazine, and I think that was the best moment because she was proud of her dad. I was really happy, and it didn't really feel real until she came up and really. Okay, so she's in the age where it's not really cool to think that Valheim is cool unless everyone else at school thinks it's cool.
Yeah, she didn't care until the game came out and it became a success. She's like, oh, that boring Viking game, Daddy. No, thank you. I'm playing Minecraft. Go away.
Yeah, but that's actually a true story. She plays Minecraft. She doesn't play Valheim. Yeah,
same as my daughter. My daughter was 9, and it's only in the last year that she's got a bit excited about me being a YouTuber. My son's 15. And I get more kudos from his friends who want to play and hang out playing Rust with me than he does. He's like, nah, my dad's, yeah. And my daughter's tried telling her friends that I'm a YouTuber, and at first they were like, oh, okay. And now they're just being mean and saying, yeah, he's not a big one though. What do I have to do here? What do I have to do? But yeah, that's cool. That's really nice. I guess it does break
moment. But another fun moment was when 1 week after launch. And I remember saying to everyone, like, 20,000, that we need 20,000. I'm hoping for 20,000. But I think we broke 20,000 in the first day.
Yeah.
And then Coffee Stain said, like, we're going to try to push for 500,000 on Monday. And I'm like, oh, yeah, good luck with that. We're not getting 500,000 sales. That sounds stupid. Monday comes around, and we've got 1 million. And I'm like, okay, this is big.
Yeah, this is beyond our expectations and stuff. In terms of, is there going to be a period where you really go back to just doing more art or starting stuff up or doing things?
We've got a lot of things up in the air right now. So I'm basically everywhere and doing everything right now. But I did start doing stuff, was it last week or 2 weeks ago? Last week, I think. I did start doing a little bit work on the first content patch.
Ooh, exciting. So that's the home and halves. I guess that's going to lead into the obvious question, and I'm probably not going to get an answer, but have we got an ETA on the home and half? I've been telling everyone end of April. That's what I feel. Like, I feel that's a realistic, 3 more weeks of bug fixing, adding some more stuff, and then end of April, that would be like a good 2 months after launch.
I'm not really sure, to be honest. It all depends, because the list we have right now is it is a lot of things.
Yeah.
that has yet to be created, but they have to get in. And also the way that we work pretty organically, and I think that's why we have like big chunks called Heath and Harm, because we can fit a lot of things into it, but also we don't have to commit to anything.
No, you've not said exactly that you're going to get a whole new build set, or there's going to be 20 different crafting benches, or, you know, a case of maybe if you have to reevaluate, you could leave some of that stuff for another smaller update or whatever.
Exactly. But I mean, and then, I mean, I hopped over and started working on other content today, on Friday, which isn't actually content for the first content patch. It's something else that's coming earlier than the big content update, which we feel is much more urgent to get out first.
Yeah,
can't talk much about it, but we and that's the way we work with a lot of things, that we try to fix a lot of things as fast as possible. And yeah,
it does make me laugh when people say like, "Oh, they're not doing hard enough." And I'm like, "Well, there is literally only 5 of them, or 6." Yeah, Smithy as well. You know,
the thing is that I think I've been working like Richard. I think for 2 years he hasn't been taking a proper break.
Yeah,
at all. And I mean, even if at the end of the day when I stop working, I'd probably just sit down and do stuff on my free time, just because I think it's genuinely fun to sit and work with game development.
Yeah, it's your stuff.
Even if I don't get it implemented in the game, I'll be like, oh, here's a horse, or here's a wagon, and they'll be like, oh, we don't need a horse, oh, we don't need a wagon, but thank you anyway. I'm like, okay, no worries.
But when they do, you say, right, I need overtime, pay me, I want more money for that one, please, thank you very much.
Normally I never asked for it, to be honest. It's because it's on my free time and it's on my spare time, so I don't actually I don't want them to pay me just to
I guess that's what your stream's about. Like, I've got your stream up on my page right now, and obviously you've been doing that regularly. Give you a bit shout out, and yes, we know it's not a developer stream technically. I've had a couple of your admins get salty with me because I keep calling it the dev stream. But
you're not the only one though, because there are several other channels who are calling it the official developer. And I do understand why.
Yeah, but it's not. It's just your chance to just work on some stuff. If people get some bonus info about Valheim, it is just a bonus. Like, it's there. It's not really the objective or the goal to talk strictly Valheim, or it is more just about showing off, you know, how to create stuff and do stuff.
So it's very unofficial, and it's very like, I got Lisa and Patrick on last Saturday.
Yeah, I caught most of that. It was just a little bit at the end there. So it's cool. It's good. I actually really like. I was saying this too, I think, Smithy, that it is important. Like, if you haven't got I didn't expand on this enough, but if you have got updates maybe not coming as frequently as people want them to, then staying engaged with the community in some way, whether it's streaming or whether it's daily posts on socials and stuff, is really important. Even if you're only just saying the same old, like, you know, stuff like it's not ready yet but soon, or take a look at this other stuff, it's still just a good way to keep people informed.
And that's one of the things that I noticed when we actually became this huge that we are. I don't know if we are big or not, but I noticed that I had like this developer aura wherever I went. If I went into a chat on Twitch or on YouTube, people were just happy that I was there. So I kind of felt like it was my responsibility to just like go and say hi to people who are actually covering Valheim or playing Valheim.
Yeah,
a lot of times I'll just go down to the voice channel in Discord and hang out with people just because they become happy, and so that's a win-win.
It's definitely like, it is nice. It is nice. There is obviously the dark side eventually, where forward-facing devs do kind of get weighed down by a lot of the toxicity and negativity that can come out. But at the moment, with Valheim being such a success, I guess you're definitely getting more positive than you are negative.
Oh, the cool thing is that people do actually know how to give good criticism when I've been talking to them, especially when it's on voice as well. I think you're more of a warrior when you just got the keyboard and you're just typing stuff. But in voice, people tend to be more nice and civil about things like, we don't like this system.
Yeah.
And so it's easier to discuss it with them, and then I'll take that feedback to Richard, and we'll maybe change stuff. Yeah.
So here, confirmed, everyone. Go hassle Robin if you want changes made to Valheim. He's your man. But yeah, no. Going back to your art, I guess. What is obviously you said your anime was good. Have you got any examples I could have later to show in the video, or like what is your favorite kind of art to do, or what is your favorite thing you're doing at the game at the moment?
The favorite thing I like doing is creating new bosses.
Right.
That's my most favorite thing, because you sit down with Richard and you're like, okay, so in this biome, what do we need? What do we want? What's the fantasy around this? And we'll talk about stuff and we'll start doing concept art, and then we'll try to push that art a bit more. But normally, when you go from concept art to an in-game model, I usually say like 75% of the concept art will be translated into the model, which then becomes like, okay, so you got the model. For example, like Yagluth, the last boss we've got.
Yeah.
He changed a little bit from the model, from the concept, but it's pretty close. But a lot of things you have to like scale up or give more details around certain areas just to get it working according to the fantasy that you had from the beginning. So the whole boss thing, I don't know why that is more interesting than making a goblin, but it feels like this is the end stage of this biome, or this. Like, so this is the culmination of what you've been working for. Now beat this guy.
I guess as well, because you don't see the bosses that often as well, it becomes like, oh wow, like I hadn't noticed that about this guy before. Whereas the goblins, you see him every day, like, you know, more or less playing it every sort of session. So it becomes sort of more routine and easy to spot. The bosses, I guess, you know, we know there's another 3 biomes coming, or there's going to be 9 in total, I should say. This is from all the other interviews, and we presume there's going to be a boss for all 9 biomes, or the big ones. So I'm guessing we're expecting another 3 bosses, maybe?
Oh, I hope there'll be more.
Yeah, I mean, I heard about the mini bosses and stuff like that, and that makes everyone happy. Like having just more sort of end game content and ways to do things and go and get stuff. I think that's what
I'd love to have the normal progression bosses.
Yeah,
that's the cookie cutter boss for everyone. You need it to progress, so it won't be that difficult, but it will be difficult. But then I want like the ultra bosses, the world bosses that you could summon or just randomly just find out in the woods or something. And I want bosses to be like, you can only damage it like 1 HP.
Yeah, it's going to be ridiculous.
Like clamped damage, and it's got 10,000 HP. It's going to take a week, in-game week, to just kill it, and you get really good loot. And you can't kill command it either. That's the whole big thing. You can't kill command it like with cheats.
Oh no, don't say that. I love my cheats. I love them. I couldn't survive without cheats.
No, stinky cheater.
That's what the new. I mean, I've put a video out this morning. It's already got like 20k views nearly, and it's talking about the changes to the cheat code. And yeah, people are losing their shit over. I was losing my shit. I ain't gonna lie. Like, I've got to put a parameter in now. God damn it! This game is dead. These devs are trash. But yeah, no. I guess that's your Dark Souls, like love of Dark Souls, maybe coming through, like that kind of idea of more different bosses that are a little bit optional.
I like the idea that you actually stumble upon stuff, just like you do your normal adventures in Valheim. For example, the first time you ever meet a serpent, if you didn't know about it, I think those are the best moments when you finally see the troll. I saw a video of a guy who it was like these funny compilations of Valheim, and the first time he saw a troll, and he screams out, "It's him!" And I was like, "Who? How? What do you mean him?" And obviously he means like from the loading screen art, there's this big troll trying to smash the Vikings. So he's meaning like, it's that guy, and he's here, and he was really scared. And I just find it so funny when you get surprised about something. Like in Meadows, there was a troll wandering about, which is, and that's what I want for the bosses, world bosses. But I'm not saying that this is even going to be true.
Yeah, no. Yeah, it's just something that you hopefully might come along if it does that. It's always good to have a bit of randomness with that as well. What's going on with the situation for like mods and stuff? Like obviously mods right now are only strictly unofficial, has to be said, and you stated that in lots of Q&As before the game came out that it would be not supported as such. But Could that change in the future? I've seen other games like Terraria eventually make modding a thing for their game after years. Or is it just, is there a reason why you couldn't integrate that or didn't want to?
I think the biggest, I can't really say what reasons they are because it's actually Richard's decisions. And I think it's just like, if he puts in mod support right now, I think, I'm not sure if I'm saying this correctly, but it might be more work for him trying to sort out if something breaks within the mod.
I was going to say, that's what it sounds kind of like. Like, you don't want more feedback than you need just because someone's loaded up an extra loot mod. That's breaking the game. And I was thinking about all the games that have come out with mod support. There's only a couple that really have had it off the bat, like Ark Survival Evolved, maybe Conan Exiles. But so many of them games did take a while before they added it. I mean, mods are great. Like, I love any way that anyone wants to mess around with their world and game. And, you know, you do you. You play the game how you want to play it.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why we kept the cheats in. And also because we use the cheat codes, I guess, for spawning different stuff and getting to different systems as well. So that's a big reason why we have cheats in the game is also because if you lose your stuff, you can retrieve it if you want to, or you can be a badass and try to go get them yourself. But cheats have actually helped us out a lot with a lot of people, like the flying gravestone, the disappearing gravestone. People can actually go in and cheat back their stuff.
Yeah, it takes a little bit of pressure off. People aren't going to complain to you about losing their favourite Frostner hammer because they can just spawn one in.
Yes.
And that's good. I mean, I'm looking now, there's 576 mods. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see if maybe further down the line Richard might look at that decision. But I'm pretty sure he was pretty equivocal that, they weren't going to support mods for a while.
Not yet, at least. Not for a while. I'm not sure if he wants to do it later down the line. We haven't had that discussion really. But right now he's just focusing on trying to fix the stability of the game as much as possible.
Yeah. That's good. What's going on with I mean, I would say this, again, that's the other quest that I see a lot on my videos. It's either talking about mods, console, or making it more PvP based. And I actually love Valheim's not a Ark or Rust or DayZ clone where it's like 70 Vikings on a server trying to kill each other. I quite like the fact it's a co-op focused thing. But are there any other plans for the PvP? I know a little bit on the roadmap about maybe expanding a little bit on what you can do, but maybe not necessarily. No one's ever going to see a Valheim 70 player PvP only server.
Actually, on today's patch, we actually changed the PvP to friendly fire today.
Right, okay. So it's always as a default.
No, it's basically you can turn on it's not called PvP anymore, it's just called friendly fire.
So try and take away some of that discussion about it so people really get used to it. It's probably a good idea, to be honest. It is. Because I'm sure you've been getting the same sort of questions like about PvP.
Yeah, a lot of people want to do PvP, and obviously in a Viking game you'd think like, okay, raids and stuff like that would be a thing, you raiding each other. I mean, that was one of the base concepts for Valheim back in the day.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure we're doing that anymore. We just want to PvE focused, and there should be an end to the game.
Yeah. And if people want to, like, they can set up their own servers, rent them out, and then make it PvP if they want to. Like, you know.
Yes.
Yeah, there's plenty of choice out there for them types of games.
But I mean, we can't rule it out just yet. But right now, it would be one thing more to focus on, and we feel like we are PvE focused and not PvP focused. So starting to fidget around with that now would be a bad idea.
Yeah, just convolute stuff. What is the next big thing? Obviously, you said a little bit about bosses, but what's the feature on the roadmap, the official roadmap, that you're most looking forward to?
I'm looking forward to Cult of the Wolf.
Yeah.
And people are like, "What, Robin, is Cult of the Wolf then?"
No, I wasn't gonna be the obvious thing. I know what it is, of course.
All right. I already told you.
Yeah, it's exactly. I know all the answers. No, the Cult of the Wolf is literally about werewolves being your pet doggos, and
yes,
yeah, that's exactly it. No, yeah, obviously, yeah, of course, people are excited. I mean, I'm presuming it has got something to do with. I'm going to say it wrong. Fenra or Fenris, one of the guys up in the mountains, the wolves. But lots of people also correct me saying, "Oh, it's going to be just a clan-based like enemy or NPC sort of situation. I'm like, no, it sounds pretty full on. Like, I'm pretty sure that's going to be a whole new set of enemies to deal with.
So basically, what we try to do is, well, we're going to try to do this, and we might not always prevail in this or succeed in it. But we have something called the ABC of Valheim, which we try to nurture as much as possible, which is A for adventure, B for building, and C for combat. So basically, when we go into these patches, we're trying to fill some of the needs in all these 3 areas, basically.
Oh wow, that's good to know, because I was looking at some of them thinking, right, home and half, just builders then. Like, people who aren't interested in building might not necessarily get that much joy from it. But
well, we're going to try to put in some things for the combat, some things for the adventure as well. Might be not as big as the building aspect in the Hearth and Home, but then you come to the Cult of the Wolf. Might be more combat and adventure oriented.
Ooh, excitement. Very excited.
And then you've got the ships and the seas, which will be more adventure and building oriented. But then you're going out to the seas, and you don't want to go out into empty seas now.
No, curing the... I was talking about this to the Salt developers last night. Like, sailing boredom is a thing to be cured in games. Now we've got so much water and actually going across like situations. Valheim doesn't feel like that though. I think because the land is kind of mostly always there in sight, and you have got events that are happening like the sea serpents, like the weather changing so abruptly. Like, it keeps it interesting. Whereas some games like Atlas have really struggled going to a new land or destination because it just gets boring on a ship that you can't do much on.
Yeah, no, we totally agree. And we try to balance that a lot. And I mean, just the way that serpents came into the game is one story. But I mean, I'm glad that we have serpents in the game.
Yeah,
at least now.
It really adds that little bit element of like what's going to happen next. I guess I'll finish off. I don't want to take up too much of your time, Robin. I really appreciate it. Any secrets that no one has found, or what was the last secret to be found by players? I don't know if it is a secret, but I have found some stone cairns that no one's speaking about on top of like mountains, and they're just like, you know, the rocks shaped like a little upside down diamond, or a diamond shape, like stacked up on top of each other. And I don't even know if that is meant to, like, if that's a common thing, but I don't see anyone else talking about it. They're just little stone.
Oh yeah, those are the Swedish trolls.
Yeah,
those are I mean, we have them as totems in Sweden and Norway.
Right.
Actually, small stone trolls. I think they have that in the movie Frozen.
It's because that's the only thing I could think of, like maybe a secret and not too many. But is there anything else no one's really discovered yet, or you're waiting for the penny to drop?
I don't think people. We don't have any really deep cuts or anything like that. We have talked about putting in even more things that are really, really hidden in the game. One thing would be to have a developer room somewhere in the game, but we don't know if we want to put that in just to break the the fourth wall somehow.
Go inside and immediately some thrash metal music will start playing, and there's just anime pictures, posters on the walls.
Yes,
that kind of thing.
Yeah, that would be fun if we had a developer place. But no, I think people have discovered a lot of the things that we tried to hit pretty good, I think.
I remember the first time Odin, or in my opinion, Glengarry, but everyone disagrees with me, appeared. I was like, whoa, what is that? That was a pretty good moment when that happened.
He is a bit of a stalker.
Yeah, he's just like that one eye, always from afar. I'm going to report him to the police. But yeah, thanks a lot. Last thing, I didn't put this in the questions, but obviously I've got to ask, it is the most, I would say, requested one from me, is I know you've said in previously that consoles, not right now, but it isn't not on the agenda or not off the agenda. Is there any news on that front? And what do you think about the Switch developers panic button saying they'd love to make a Switch version?
Oh, we haven't talked about it for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
But right now it's just like we feel like we need to stay focused and try to complete Valheim as much as possible first before trying to port to anything else, because that'll just give us more issues and more overhead work. Yeah, and but yeah, I mean it's not impossible at all, but we need to start getting to the finish line first, I think.
Yeah,
And I think that's the common consensus at Iron Gate right now. We need to finish this game, or at least get started on finishing this game.
I could honestly see it, and I'm sure you probably could tell from the stats yourself. But the day it does come out on console, you will see twice the success you think you've seen on PC. Like if honestly, like the amount of questions and people excited about this game. Same thing with Minecraft. That same sort of impact is there. That console fans had to wait ages, and so if they've got to wait 18 months, maybe nearly 2 years for the game to be finished, man, the hype around Valheim as it continues to do good is going to be just massive. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It means I've got plenty to cover for the next 18 months.
It would be nice to have it on console, but I think just like I said, it's just too much to handle right now.
Definitely
focus on one thing first, and then continue.
Robin, I really appreciate it taking your time. Thank you again, and yeah, appreciate. Give us some answers. I won't stalk you as much now. Now I've got one round of stuff from you.
Right.
But don't worry, 2 months down the line, I'll be hassling you again. But yeah, no, I really appreciate it. Thank you.
No worries. It was fun. It was really, really fun.
Cheers.